Persons wanting to catch a direct flight to London from Accra this weekend may have to look for alternatives. This was after managers of Heathrow Airport announced that it does not know when it will reopen the facility for full operations. Let's get on Zoom and speak to aviation expert Sean Mendes for some update on this development. Welcome, Sean. What do you make of this development, Sean?
Good afternoon, and thanks for having me. I think, the situation is in fact quite unique. This is the first time since 2010 that there have been no flights in or out of Heathrow Airport for the entire day. Back in 2010, it had been shut down due to the volcano in Iceland. So for 15 years, there's always been some operations at Heathrow, but today, every single flight arrival and departure at Heathrow has been cancelled. So that's 689 flights were scheduled to depart today, and all 689 of those are cancelled, affecting approximately 140,000 passengers. So this is a humongous disruption to passengers, not just the passengers from Ghana who are going to the UK, but passengers all over the world who are traveling to, from, and via the UK, because Heathrow is such a major transit hub.
Sean, we just got information that Heathrow Airport is reporting that they will start with partial flight today and possibly before they can exacerbate into full flight for passengers. What do you make of this new development in the midst of what is happening now?
Yeah, within the last 30 minutes, we've had a statement from Heathrow Airport that the National Grid Electric Company in the UK has been able to restore power to the airport. So now it is functional again. But because of the fact that so many flights going into Heathrow had been diverted, the planes and the crews are not in position. So their focus for the rest of the evening today is going to be for a limited number of operations, mainly of aircraft that were out of position to complete their flights, to bring the last few passengers who'd been stranded at other airports, to bring the aircraft and crew who'd been stranded elsewhere into Heathrow, and to then set things up to be able to operate a full schedule tomorrow. But, as it stands right now, every flight out of Heathrow has been cancelled for today, so nothing more is going to depart from Heathrow. And that includes the British Airways flight from Heathrow to Accra, which was supposed to have left this afternoon and was cancelled. In fact, yesterday night's Accra to London Heathrow flight that left Accra yesterday evening wound up diverting to Lyon in France. And in fact, the passengers are still stranded in Lyon at this time, and hopefully, British Airways and the various governments involved will be able to sort things out and get them into the UK at the earliest.
There's certainly many want to visit their families or conduct business, and many reasons for traveling. What options are available for persons that have already bought their tickets from the British Airways, possibly for today and this weekend?
Well, the main issue here is only affecting Heathrow Airport. So if you are flying into Gatwick Airport or Stansted or Manchester or anywhere else in the UK, you are not going to be affected by this problem. Beyond that, British Airways in particular, being the largest carrier at London Heathrow, is going to be disproportionately affected by this. If you are looking at traveling into the UK, you're probably better at, looking at an indirect flight right now, if there is availability on those going via, say, Dubai or Amsterdam or similar. Because those airlines, KLM, Emirates, Qatar, whatever, will have less of a backlog of passengers to clear. Because I said there's 140,000 passengers affected today. It's not going to be easy to find empty seats for these passengers on flights, tomorrow, Sunday, Monday, and so forth. So British Airways has the most number of these passengers affected. They're going to probably take at least 3 to 5 days to recover, while other airlines are probably going to be able to recover within 24 to 48 hours.
Finally, Sean, are there compensation for passengers who may have had to encounter this kind of situation? And if there are, what sort of compensation are available for them?
Well, the UK and the European Union have a regulation called 261/2004, which basically requires an airline to pay compensation if there are flight delays due to their fault. Now, in this case, it would probably qualify as one of the exceptions. However, despite that, the airline is obligated that if you are departing from an airport in the UK or the European Union, you are required to be provided with accommodation. If you have to stay overnight, you have to be given, refreshments while you are waiting at the airport to be rebooked, and you have to be rebooked at the first available opportunity. So those three things are your rights. If you're going to stay overnight, you will get hotel, you will get refreshments while you're at the airport, and you must be rebooked at the first available flight at no additional cost to yourself. So those are the rights that passengers who are stranded in the UK or in the EU must request from the airline that they were booked with.
Sean, we appreciate the fact that you could make time to speak to us on this development from Heathrow. Sean Mendes, an aviation expert. Now, moving on.